welcome. I'm Karen Ryder, and I'm going to guide you through a basic level 1 class today. Whether you're new to yoga or a seasoned practitioner, this is a nice class that will get your morning going or help you wind down in the evening after a long day. And we're going to focus a little bit on the upper body, shoulders, and the back and hip region that often is where we hold a lot of our stress and tension. And if you'll notice, I'm sitting up on 2 blankets and I have 2 blocks nearby if you need to modify. The reason I'm sitting up is to show you that sometimes when we sit a little bit closer to the ground, our hips get really tight and creates a rounding in the back and shoulders. So you can sit up on a blanket if you have really tight hips or back issues, and you want to try to create the lower lumbar curve by just widening your sitting bones. And you can take your hands right on the thigh bones and press them down as you draw your low belly in and up, creating length and extension in your spine. And there's this opening across the collarbones as you softly bring the shoulder blades down your back. And then the next thing we do is always connect with our breathing. The Ujjayi breath is the main breath that we do in this practice. It's a deep inhale and a deep exhalation breath through the nose, but we want to be careful not to over effort. There's a slight constriction in the back of the throat called the epiglottis, and it's a valve effect that actually slows the breath down. This is while we're moving through our yoga practice with this breath, it's doing a lot of work to bring oxygen deeper into the cellular level of our body. And what we're actually doing when we practice yoga is using our physical body to access this deep energy that we block off with all this tension and tightness that I was mentioning in the beginning of class. So just close your eyes and begin to tune in to your breath. And even if the back of the throat piece sounds a little confusing, just let it go. See if you can make your focus through this practice just to enhance a little bit deeper breathing in and out through your nose. Start to shift away from breathing, the shallow breathing, into the deeper breathing. You can feel a little choppy in the beginning, and just see if you can bring what we call stiram and sukham, steadiness and ease, to both your posture and your breath. Stiram sukham asana means a steady, easeful posture. We're accessing this beautiful alignment that we do through the physical form to access the deep energy that we just block moment to moment in our daily lives without awareness. You can gently begin to bring your head down and slowly start to open your eyes, keeping your gaze down. We're going to come up to stand, so you can move to the side and just move your blankets out of the way. And notice that I've got a couple blocks. If you need blocks, I'll show you some modifications. So if you come up to stand, you can actually, what I really like to do when my back is a little cranky is I put a block in my inner thighs. It helps to make the connection to the outer hips, drawing in towards the pelvis, keeping the thighs back and the tailbone nice and long. So it creates a nice lower lumbar curve. And then as you inhale, just lengthen from the waist up to the armpits. So you feel that nice stretch up through the side body, and then just relax the shoulder blades down your back and softly bring your chin back. And on your next inhale, lift up the arms without lifting up the top of the shoulders. So you want to feel like the shoulder blades are always moving the direction towards your waistline as your low belly lifts up towards your chest. You can use that nice spaciousness. And on your next inhale, stretch up again, then exhale, bow forward. So if you are really tight, you can use 2 blocks. You can use your block to just place your hands, making sure that you have space for your shoulders. Or another option, which I think works really well, is bending your knees. So that way you can keep the shoulder girdle muscles nice and open. And as you inhale, see if you can lengthen the torso nice and long, waistline back, heart forward. Exhale, bow. Inhale again, we call this Ardha Uttanasana, and the full forward fold is Uttanasana. We begin to create movement with that deep breathing. We've got a nice curve in the low back, which is helping to release tension here. And we're going to come up and do a little shoulder work. Exhale, bow. And on your next exhalation breath, press the legs down. Always use your in-breath, slow and steady. So you draw in and lift up with an inhalation breath, and bring your palms to your heart. Samastitihi. We're going to take our hands behind the low back. This is a really nice way to get both the tension out of the neck and shoulders. As you interlace your fingers, you want to keep that lift as you anchor your lower body from the core of the low belly all the way to the feet. And now take another in-breath, lengthen, bring your chin back. And as you bring your arms over to the right, you can softly bring that chin back again and tilt your head to the right. And you'll feel the muscles, these are called the scalene muscles, and they attach to the shoulder muscles. And often when we get out of bed in the morning, we've been rolling like in a little ball all night, a lot of tension and tightness there. And at night, from sitting at a computer all day or driving, we have the same tension. Now inhale back to center. Take another big full breath in and exhale over to the left. Chin back. Keeping the collarbones nice and broad enhances the most important thing we do in this practice, and that's deep breathing. Getting fresh oxygen moving in terrain, getting more freedom, releasing some of these physical obstacles. Nicely done. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release your hands. And we're going to take the block out. Just put it aside. We can use that later. We're just going to do a little bit of movement with the breath. Inhale, big full stretch again. Exhale, bow back down. Inhale, lengthen. You're going to keep your right foot rooted as you step your left foot back, left knee down. Now, if you have really sensitive knees, you can take a blanket, lift up the back knee, and then bring the knee back down. And you roll over the top of the kneecap. You never want to put direct pressure on the kneecap. So you roll over the kneecap so you're at the base of the femur bone. And then as you move your right hip back, you're going to feel a nice steadiness as the hips connect towards your pelvis, and then they can root down. And as you lengthen through your spine, keep the heart nice and open. You're actually working your shoulder muscles, bring a nice opening for this psoas muscle, the hip flexor. It can be related to a lot of our back pain. And on your next inhalation breath, you're going to lift the back thigh up. Stay here in a low lunge. You're going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bring your right arm up. A nice little twist. And bring your right hand back down. Bring the left knee back down. And you're going to come up with your arms to this beautiful low lunge called Anjaneyasana. Nice stretch of the spine and opening to the hips. Now bring your fingertips down, lift your back leg up, walk your left leg to meet your right leg. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, bow. We always root on our exhalation breath, and we rise with a big in-breath right from the core to the heart, and palms to your heart center. Exhale, release the hands again. Inhale, big full stretch. Exhale, bow back down. Inhale, lengthen, keeping the left foot rooting. Step your right leg back. You can slide your blanket, drop your knee down, connect your hips in towards your pelvis. That creates a lot of stability here. It's also very safe for the back. We just kind of let ourselves go in our poses. We're actually overly stretching connective tissue. So drawing the hips in towards the center, and you can think of your waistline moving back as your heart moves forward. So you keep all that nice length and space for your breath. Just taking a couple of nice deep breaths here. On your next inhalation breath, lift your right thigh up. The right leg comes up. Your left hip moves back. Inhale, take a big long in-breath to stretch the spine again, and bring your left arm up. You can modify with the knee down here if you need that, that's okay. And then bring your left hand down. Inhale, bring both arms up. Full low lunge stretch called Anjaneyasana. Exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, walk the right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, bow. Root down and rise up. Big full stretch. Palms to your heart. big full stretch. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lengthen. You're going to step your feet back to table pose. And again, you can use the blanket. You can turn the blanket so that both of your knees are resting on the blanket if you have sensitive knees. This would be your modification. So we're coming to table. This is a very nice neutral pose in yoga. It's also the beginning of a weight-bearing pose. So when you anchor your hands, you want to make sure that your wrist creases are facing forward. And your upper arm bones, your tricep muscles are facing out. And then when you create that space and length again, take a big in-breath. Your heart goes forward as your waistline extends back. And we're going to move through cats and dogs using our breath. As you inhale, lengthen your chest, tilt your tailbone. As you exhale, round and turn it back nice and high. And again, inhale, chest forward. If you have lower lumbar pain, don't arch the back too much, just to keep it neutral. That will help your back. And then you can come back with an exhalation breath. Take your mid back high, feeling like you're really pressing the hands to the earth. Inhale, chest forward. Watch the low backs again. Too much of a tailbone can create a little lower lumbar pain, so you want to keep it a little more neutral. Exhale. Stretch up. Nicely done. Inhale, back to neutral. We're going to take our hips over to the right. This is a really nice stretch in the outer hips, but you can also feel this in the lateral side of your body. Over to the left and back to center. Hips to the right again. Back towards your heels. Over to the left and back to center. And then you can go the opposite direction over to the left side. Back towards your heels, over to the right, and back to center. And again, one more time. To the left, back towards your heels, over to the right. And if you have a blanket, as I do right now, just to show the modification for the knees, you can take your blanket and move it to the side. We're going to come all the way down onto our bellies. So the thing about coming down to our bellies, it can actually look trickier than it appears. So you want to make sure that your hands are really grounded and your shoulder blades flat towards your waistline. Use an in-breath to draw in, and then slowly lower down, elbows back, flat back, and then you release your toes back and press them down. As you take a big in-breath, stretch up through the spine and then curl into a low cobra, Bhujangasana. This is an amazing pose for creating strength in the entire back line of the body. So we're working shoulders, but we're also working our back. This creates amazing strength, which helps to release tension and tightness. At the same time, when our shoulders get stronger, they'll actually anatomically go back into the right place, and that enhances the flow of our breathing. We block a lot of our breath by these rounded actions, and also in our low back. This is a really great builder for strength in the low back so that we can get that lift off of our low back, create more length there. Nicely done. We're going to lower down, coming into Samabhasana. Take your hands down. You can start with your forehead down, and on one big in-breath, lift your chest up first. So you want to create the length and extension. Heart leads the way, and then lift your legs up on your next in-breath. As you stretch the legs behind you, keep lengthening the chest forward. Make sure you're breathing. A couple of nice deep breaths. And nicely done. You can make a little pillow with your forehead and just rest for a moment. I always say that this is a great pose to tune into your energy. When we start to open up our chest and lungs, you start to feel the energy moving. You start to feel your energy lifting. Now to come up, place your hands, tuck your toes, and come back up to your knees. We're going to come into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And I'm going to recommend that you just do maybe just a breath or two when you come up. If you haven't done this pose before, there's a lot of shoulder principles, and you can feel a little if your shoulders are tight and you're not quite sure where they go. But we always set up our pose before we come in. You want your hands firm and rooted using your metacarpal knuckles and your finger pads. And the beauty of weight bearing, it's really great for creating strength and bone density. So we want to be sure we're doing it the right way. Then we draw in with an in-breath. You want to slide your shoulder blades down so you feel like your heart is more open and free, and that enhances the breath. We're going to use our core as you come up. Draw the low belly in and lift up, and then you're going to stretch your legs back, keeping the knees bending, especially if you're really tight in your hamstrings. And then as you stretch your spine, you don't need to worry about your heels going down. You can have a micro bend to your knees. Bend your knees a lot, especially if you're newer to yoga. Notice the armpits go forward and the shoulder blades and the waistline go back. And your head, just let your head feel relaxed, and you can release the tension in the neck muscles. Sometimes we're not sure about where we are. We can kind of pitch our neck forward. So you want to relax your head, take a couple of nice deep breaths. And then on your next inhalation breath, walk your feet up to meet your hands. Transition to the tops of your finger pads. When we come down and we're kind of pressing down on our wrists, we can round the shoulders. So you come up onto the fingertips or bring your hands to your shins so you can keep the chest and the heart wide open. Now as you exhale, root down through the legs and use a big full in-breath to reach up. We call this Urdhva Hastasana. And then bring your palms to your heart center. We're going to step back, keeping the right leg forward, left leg back, coming into one of our warrior poses, Virabhadrasana 1. You can begin to relax the arms down by your side. So always focus on the lower body. We have a saying in yoga, root to rise, stability before freedom. Before we can feel the ease, we have to create the stiram, the steadiness. And you can even lift your toes so you really feel the feet pressing. A lot of times we're not aware of our feet and our pose gets a little wobbly. And as you draw in, you want to feel like your muscles are hugging the legs right up towards your pelvis. And notice how much more stable you feel. And right from the low part of your belly, you root down, and then you can use your core power. Draw the low belly in and up, and then lift your arms, coming into the full form of the pose. And then take a couple of nice deep breaths here. You're creating strength and ease at the same time, using the deep, beautiful pulsation of your breathing, the Ujjayi breath. And wait for your inhale to walk your back foot up. Exhale, release your hands. Keeping the left foot forward, right leg back, same steps. You can begin to now start to feel the movement with your breath. As you inhale, you draw in, exhale, root, inhale, lift the arms up, exhale, press the legs back down, inhale, keep lifting so you feel all of this beautiful breath creating all of the movement internally. So this is always a practice that we cultivate from the inside out. Inhale, step your right leg forward and relax your arms down. We're going to come to a side straddle. So take a comfortable stance, and I'm lifting my toes just as a way to show you how we want to be really focused on the four corners of our feet, big toe, pinky toe, ball mount, and the back two corners of the heels. I'm going to start with my hands on my waist, connecting back to my breath. And as I inhale, I'm going to power up my legs again, firm the muscles. That's going to keep me steady. I'm going to micro bend my knees, place my hands on my thighs. As I press my thighs back, that helps to release my psoas muscle and also keeps my back nice and happy. Now you can use your blocks here. You can modify with your blocks or come onto your finger pads. And you want to create that length again. As you exhale, move the waistline back. As you inhale, lift from the belly to the heart, and then bow forward on your exhalation breath. This is a wonderful pose that is an inversion. We're getting our head upside down. So until you're ready to really do inversions or any harder upside down poses, the body has to be ready. This is It's a really great pose to really get that same action. When we get our head upside down, when we come out of the pose, it really reverses the flow of the blood, moves through the body, creating a lot of energy shifting, but also rejuvenizing blood cells. You can linger here, usually for about a minute or so. We're going to transition to a twist. You can walk your hands forward. Again, you can be up on a block if you need a modification. Taking your left thumb into the left hip crease. And as you remind that hip to go back, you can use your thumb. And then you want to use your inhalation breath to create that length and space again, and just a nice little twist over your left shoulder. If that's working well, you can lift your left arm up, but this might be a little intense. You can just see where you are. The whole idea is to choose the form that enhances your breathing. If you come into a form and you're kind of crunched up, you're trying to twist, then the breath is not really working to its full potential. And we'll start with the left hand down, right hand at the hip, moving your waistline back as you extend your heart forward. Notice that creates a lot of length in the torso. And then you can start to exhale into your twist. And again, right arm up or not. Always choose what feels the best for you, because if you actually take a form in your yoga pose that doesn't feel right for you, you're creating stress. You're actually tightening up and creating stress in your body. Now, to transition out of the pose, you want to walk your feet in a little, bring your hands on your waist. Always exhale. You want to feel the legs press to the earth, feel that grounding action, and nice slow, steady inhale to rise up. We're going to take our right foot forward, walk the back foot back. So the right knee should be directed right above the right ankle, and the front heel around the middle arch of your back foot. That creates a lot of nice optimal hip alignment. Coming into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. And you can start in the general form. Just check your feet. See that the hips, you want to think of a nice open square in the shoulder and the hip area. And now in your in-breath, you want to feel the muscles coming into the middle of your body. And as you exhale, you can root down through the legs. And inhale, get that lift. So you feel this beautiful moving into the pose with your breath. And from here, take your left hand down, right arm up into reverse warrior. So we can come back to Warrior 2 and transition right to side angle. Modify by bringing your forearm behind your knee and your left arm up. You'll get a really nice deep stretch down through the whole lateral side of the body, through the leg and up. Spine and chest. So more seasoned students can spin the pinky finger down, rotating the upper arm bone out, going into a deeper variation. And the full form would be the hand outside the foot. So to come up, take your hand back to your waist. You can bring your hand back to the forearm. And one big in-breath, right up. And we'll switch to the second side. Left foot forward. So I have to scoot my back foot back. You want to always adjust your back foot. Front foot is the primary foundation here. If you start wiggling your front foot, you're going to find yourself out of balance. You want to stabilize from the feet into the core. Root down from the core through the legs to the feet. Lift from the core to the heart. And just soften. Feel the softness within the steadiness. Come into reverse warrior with your inhale. Lift and lengthen. I'm bending my elbow to show sometimes if we come in and we're a little tight, we go back to blocking the breath. So you can bend your elbow as we stretch over. And come back to Warrior 2. Parsakonasana, side angle. Right arm up to start. You can bring the right arm over the head. So there's a parita. That's a revolving of your chest. Spins upwards the everything has a layering. So you can choose to go exactly where you need to go. One more big full in-breath. Exhale, release. Come back to the straddle. Bringing your hands back to your waist. As you exhale, root down through the legs. Inhale, rise. Big full stretch. Walk your feet back to the top of your mat. Coming to Tadasana. We're going to come into tree pose. Really good to practice balance in yoga. And the beauty of tree pose, it has lots of layers. You can start in a modified form. You can start with your right foot on the inside of your left foot, hands on your waist. You can start to bring the foot up towards the inner calf, or the full form in the inner thigh. So the tricky part is, do we have our breath utilizing the stability factor? So as you inhale, you want to feel your hips draw in and that left leg on your exhale really anchoring. And you can lift and lengthen on your in-breath, hands to your heart center. Just take a couple of breaths. If you're more seasoned, you can try balancing with your arms up. And exhale, release. Second side. Right leg down. I'm going to show the modified form on this side. So even if you want to just play with bringing your foot up just a little bit so that you feel how your breath will help you to stay nice and steady as your heart stays nice and lifted. Sort of gradually move the foot up. Remember, I'm talking so you can't see the rhythm of my breathing. That deep inhale and exhale, and out through the nose. Sustain that breath through the whole practice. And release on your exhalation breath. Inhale, big full stretch. Exhale, bow back down. Inhale, lengthen. Step your left foot back. You're going to come into a really nice thigh stretch variation. And again, I offer a lot of levels here. Sometimes we hit these poses, especially when we're new to yoga, and we may not even realize that we're even tight in these spots until we really come there. So you can take 2 blocks and put them on the side to help support your hips as they learn to really start to build that stability. And then you want to create the upper body. If we come into our poses and we're back in our form of rounding, we're actually blocking the breath and blocking our ability to go in there and sort of soften all these tight spots. On your next inhalation breath, bring your left leg up. You'll start to feel a little deeper stretch in your thigh. Now, I'm going to remove the blocks to show another variation, a deeper variation. Fingertips down, the back heel a little bit more towards the back hip. And then the third variation, start with your right hand behind the right knee, lengthen up through the torso, reaching back for the back foot. This is a little bit more seasoned, but lots of layers. Everybody's body's different. You want to feel balanced, steady. You also want to feel open and free. Nice. We're going to come into a hamstring stretch. Very problematic muscles, 3 bands of the hamstrings, because they go up and they attach into the glutes and they can irritate the low back. So you want to make sure that your hips are square, your knee is bending. When we lock our knees, we actually pull the hamstring muscles even more. So you want to micro bend your right knee, move your waistline back, create that length again in your torso. And also your blocks are your friends. If you need blocks to enhance your balance, blocks aside. Take a couple of deep breaths. Most people are tight in their hamstrings. This is a really good way. So we never want to overstretch. We never want to bounce on the hamstring. You don't want to lock out the knees and pull too much. Very sensitive. They actually take a really long time to heal if they're overstretched. Now to get to the second side, just you can come on your finger pads or just plant your palms. Stretch your right leg back. Step your left foot forward. You can go back again to the blocks. Into our thigh stretch on the right leg. Start to lift your right leg up. You can take your left hand behind your left knee, reach back for the foot. You want to pick the variation that'll put a smile on your face, because if you wince and you stop breathing, you want to be able to always, when you're in the form that's right for your body, when you start to feel that enhancement of your quality of your breath. Back to the hamstring stretch. Stretch your left leg, coming. So the waistline moves back. So where we get into trouble, I recommend you can have a block again by the side of your legs if you need that. You can also take your left thumb into the hip crease. As you bend your left knee, move that hip back. That recenters the hip, puts less stress on what we call the psoas muscle, the hip flexor muscle. Nice deep breathing. Nice. And I'm going to stretch that leg back, come back onto the knees, and we're going to come into what we call child's pose. Take the toes to touch as you widen your knees, sit back on your heels. You're going to walk your hands forward and just place your head down. Notice that my heart and my torso, all the work that we've done so far to keep the length of the torso and the chest and the heart and the breath fully liberated. And then we'll come into this pose. Use your inhalation breath. Walk your hands back. Inhale to lift up. Turn your knees to the side. Come onto your right hip. So it's always a little tricky transitioning to our backs. So we move these aside. Sometimes we go right into our habit of rounding. That just pulls all the muscles back out of alignment. So you want to create that length again. You want to widen your sitting bones and lift up from the core to the heart. And as you exhale, just start to come down. Try to keep that action, so you're going to engage a lot of your core work. And if you're not really strong here yet, don't worry about it. You can take your hands and actually have your arms assist you and come all the way down onto your back. And you're going to take your feet a little wider than your mat as you place the back of the head. So this is a really great twist. They're wonderful for giving us both energy, and they help to calm the nervous system. So they're great for neutralizing our energy. So you can do these in the morning, you can do it at night, all of the poses. What we're doing when we move our bodies is we're releasing tension and tightness, which gives us both energy and peace and serenity. Now you're going to take your hands on the top of your thigh bones and press them forward. So that brings the natural curve in the low back. You want to keep that extension of your torso, back of the head rooted, shoulders rooted. These are cactus arms, so you want to feel the shoulder blades nice and anchored. Take a nice big in-breath. Exhale your legs over to the right. So more seasoned students could bring their foot up behind the knee. That might be too much for the knee. You can also just be up a little bit higher if you're really tight. Use your in-breath. Always inhale to create the first action, then exhale over to the left. You can pick your left leg up, or just let it go. Bring your knees back up. Stretch your left leg out. Take your right hand behind the back of the hamstring. Stretch your leg up. This is a hamstring stretch, but it's also helping to reset the whole back body so that you can come into a comfortable resting pose of Shavasana. You want to feel your thigh bone pressing forward and a little resistance to get the shoulder blades flat and the head back so that both shoulder blades in the head are rooting. You can bend the knee. We're going to take another twist. Just bring the knee gently over to the left. You can relax your foot on top of the other leg. You don't want to round into that because that shortens that side body again. So you want to move the hip down and back, so it may not be a big deep twist. Inhale, leg up. Exhale, leg down. Inhale, left leg up. So it's just really nice for getting the extra tension out of the hip and shoulders areas. Bend your knees to go into the twist. So I take my hand on the outside. I take my left thumb to remind me to outer rotate my hips so that I'm not rounding in. I have to keep that extension in my spine. We have all these little joints of the spine, the facet joints, get a nice stretch. Twists are great for detoxing. They squeeze our organs, and then when they release, all that fresh oxygen comes in, taking out toxins, all kinds of stuff. I'll bring your left leg up, exhale, your leg down. We're going to do one more thing before Shavasana. Just bend your knees, reach for the outside of your knees. So the most important thing is not to go back to rounding. That undoes all that good work that we just did. So you want to tilt your tailbone straight, stretch your spine, and rock side to side. Your sacrum, a nice little massage. You're all prepared for Shavasana as you stretch your legs. Keep that length in your spine. You want to make sure that you're nice and open in your collarbones so that you're not crowding the shoulders. Relax your hands, and then just let your feet completely relax. Go out to the sides, and you're allowing your whole physical form to just completely relax and let go. And then we let go of the deeper breathing, the Ujjayi breath, and we just allow the natural breath, natural life energy to move in and out. And you can even notice all of that extra space that opened up. Just relax into that beautiful, spacious energy. As you stay here, try to allow yourself to stay for at least a couple minutes. And when you're ready to come out, you want to just take a nice big full in-breath, stretch the arms over the head. Exhale, stretch your legs nice and long. Inhale, bring your knees in towards your chest and just roll over to your right side. You can use your right arm as a little pillow and just stay here for a breath or two. And use your inhalation breath to come up and find your comfortable seat. And if you need that blanket, you can quietly reach for your blanket. You want to widen your sit bones, find your way back to that nice steady seat. And on your next in-breath, you want to bring your palms to your heart. Take a nice big in-breath as you lift and lengthen. And then just exhale, soften. And always bow. This is a beautiful heart seal called Anjali Mudra as a remembrance why we practice yoga.